Penguin Random House Audio presents The Mirror Man by Lars Kepler, read for you by Saul Reichlin. Chapter 1. Through the classroom's grimy windows, Eleanor watches the bushes and trees bend in the stiff breeze as dust is blown along the road. It almost looks like a river is flowing outside the school, murky and silent. The bell rings and the students gather up their books and notes. Eleanor gets to her feet and follows the others out of the classroom. She watches Jenny Lind button her jacket in front of her locker. Her face and blonde hair are reflected in the dented metal. Jenny is pretty, different. She has intense eyes that make Eleanor feel nervous, make her cheeks flush. Jenny is artistic. She likes taking photos, and she also happens to be the only person in school who actually enjoys reading. When she turned 16 last week, Eleanor said happy birthday to her. But no one cares about Eleanor. She isn't attractive enough, and she knows it, even if Jenny once said she wanted to take a series of portraits of her. It was after PE, as they stood in the showers. Eleanor grabs her things and follows Jenny towards the main doors. The wind whips up the sand and dry leaves along the white walls of the building, scattering them across the playground. The rope snaps against the flagpole. When Jenny reaches the bike racks, she pauses and shouts something. She gestures angrily and then sets off on foot without her bike. Eleanor had punctured her tires that morning, hoping it would mean she could walk home with Jenny. They would start talking about photography again, about how black and white photographs are like sculptures made of light. She has to rein in her imagination before she pictures them kissing. Eleanor follows Jenny past the Backavallen Sports Centre. The seating area outside the restaurant is empty, the white umbrellas flapping. She wants to catch up with Jenny, but doesn't dare. Eleanor is about 200 meters behind her on the footpath running parallel to Eriksberg's road. The clouds race by above the spruce trees. Jenny's light hair whips around and blows back into her face as one of the Green Line buses drives by. The ground shakes as it passes. They leave the built-up area behind, passing the ranger station. Jenny cuts across the road and continues on the other side. The sun breaks through, and the remaining clouds cast shadows that seem to dart across the fields. Jenny lives in a nice house down by the lake in Foschia. Eleanor knows this because she once came by after she found Jenny's missing book, a book she herself had hidden. In the end, she didn't dare ring the doorbell, and after waiting outside for an hour, she just left it in the postbox. Jenny pauses beneath the power lines to light a cigarette, then sets off again. The buttons on the cuff of her sleeve glint in the light. Eleanor can hear the rumble of a big lorry behind her. The ground trembles as a huge lorry with Polish number plates thunders past at high speed. Its brakes screech and the trailer careers to one side. The lorry turns sharply off the road and swings straight up onto the grassy verge, rolling onto the footpath behind Jenny before the driver manages to bring the heavy vehicle to a halt. "What the hell?" Jenny shouts. From the roof, water streams down the blue fabric on the side of the trailer, cutting a slick channel through the dirt. The engine is still running, and the smoke from the chrome exhaust pipes rises in thin columns. The cab door opens, and the driver climbs down. His black leather coat has a strange grey patch on the back and fits his broad frame snugly. His tight curls are almost to his shoulders. He strides towards Jenny. Eleanor stops dead and watches as the driver hits Jenny in the face. A few of the straps on the side of the lorry have come loose, and a section of the fabric covering the trailer catches the breeze, obscuring Jenny from view. "Hello?" Eleanor shouts, moving forward again. "What are you doing?" As the thick fabric goes slack, she sees that Jenny has fallen to the ground and is lying flat on her back. Jenny raises her head and gives a confused smile, her teeth streaked with blood. The loose section of fabric starts flapping again. Eleanor's legs are trembling as she steps into the wet ditch. She realizes she should call the police and reaches for her phone, but her hands are shaking so much that it slips from her fingers. It falls through to the ground. Eleanor bends down to retrieve it, and when she glances up again, she sees Jenny's legs kicking as the driver picks her up. A car sounds its horn as Eleanor steps out into the road and starts running towards the lorry. The driver's sunglasses flash in the sunlight as he wipes his bloody hands on his jeans and climbs back into the cab. He closes the door, puts the lorry into gear, and pulls away, one wheel still on the footpath. The dry strip of grass smoulders as the lorry thunders into the road, quickly gaining speed. Eleanor comes to a halt, gasping for air. Jenny Lind is gone. A trampled cigarette and her bag of books are all that are left on the ground. Chapter 2. Jenny Lind is lying in the bottom of a small, tarred boat on a dark lake. The rolling waves make the wood beneath her creak. She wakes with a sudden urge to throw up. The floor is rocking. Her shoulders are aching, her wrists burning. She realizes she must be inside the lorry. Her mouth is taped shut. She's lying on her side with her hands bound above her head. She can't see much. It's as if her eyes are still asleep. Lines of sunlight break through the tarpaulin. She blinks and her vision blurs. She feels unbelievably sick. Her head is pounding. The huge tires roar against the tarmac beneath her. Her hands have been bound to one of the poles holding up the trailer's covering. Jenny tries to work out what happened. She remembers being knocked to the ground, someone holding a cold rag over her mouth and nose. A wave of anxiety washes over her. She looks down and sees that her dress is bunched up around her waist, but she is still wearing her tights. The lorry is speeding along a straight stretch of road, the engine steady. Jenny desperately searches for some kind of logical explanation, a source of misunderstanding. But deep down, she knows exactly what is happening. She is in the very situation everyone fears most. This is the kind of thing that only ever happens in horror films. She left her bike at school and was walking home, pretending not to notice Eleanor following her, when the lorry pulled up across the footpath behind her. When the driver hit her, it was so unexpected that she didn't have time to react, and before she could get back on her feet, he shoved a wet rag in her face. She has no idea how long she was unconscious. Her hands feel numb from the lack of blood. Her head is spinning, and her vision disappears completely for a moment. She rests her cheek against the floor. She tries to keep her breathing calm. She knows she can't afford to throw up while her mouth is taped shut. There is a dried fish head wedged next to the tailgate, and the air in the trailer smells sweet and heavy. Jenny raises her head again. Blinking, she notices a padlocked metal cabinet and two large plastic troughs at the very front of the trailer. The troughs have been secured with thick straps, and the floor around them is wet. She tries to remember what women who have survived serial killers say about fighting back or trying to forge a bond by talking about orchids or something. There is no point trying to shout through the tape. No one would hear her. If anything, she needs to keep quiet. It's better if he doesn't know she is awake. She shuffles.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?